it's really late at night. My parents are asleep and that's why I have to be really quiet. But I just want to do a quick book review before I head off to bed and start reading the next book in the series that I'm reading. Right at the moment I'm reading A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. It was turned into a movie in 2006 starring Jim Carrey, Liam Aiken, Emily Browning, Meryl Streep, Billy Connolly and a lot of other famous people. It's actually quite a hilarious movie. Jim Carrey portrays Count Olaf amazingly and it lives up to the first three books in the best way it can. A lot of things that vary from the book to the movie as always, but you can't win at everything. Both are amazing in their own way, but you know, again, books are always better. Anyway, so yep, I'm reading A Series of Unfortunate Events, so I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of the first 8 books that I've read. The first one is The Bad Beginning. The Bad Beginning is the start of the Series of Unfortunate Events series. Obviously, it's number 1. And it begins with our 3 main heroes, Violet, Klaus and Sunny. Violet is an inventor who is 14 years old, Klaus is a researcher who is 12 years old, and Sunny is an infant who has very sharp teeth and can bite things easily. Weird power, but work with it. So it starts off with them playing on a beach where they're approached by their banker, Mr. Poe. Mr. Poe has come to tell them of an incredibly unfortunate event that is bestowed upon their lives. Their parents have been killed in a fire that's destroyed their entire home. Yeah, that just sets up for the entire series. It's miserable and just upsetting. You can't possibly imagine losing your parents in a fire. Anyway, so Mr. Poe is now in charge of where they go to, who their guardian is, and the very first person they get sent off to is Count Olaf, and Count Olaf is a horrible, 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 horrible person. He's an actor and he doesn't care for them at all. All he wants is to get the Baudelaire fortune, which he can't get until Violet turns of age, which is I think 18. So he has to pretty much keep them under his control or he'll lose the fortune. Okay, that leads us to the next book. Once they escape Count Olaf, they go and live with Uncle Montgomery, and the book is called The Reptile Room. The Reptile Room is probably one of my favourite books, one of my top 3 favourites, because Uncle Montgomery is my favourite guardian out of all of them. He was the nicest, he had the best outlook on the Baudelaire's lives, and he really wanted them to have the best life, and I absolutely adored him. Also, Billy Connolly portrayed an amazing Montgomery, and I was really sad at the end of the book. I didn't want what happened to him to happen, but you know, it's an unfortunate event, and that's just how it rolls. Okay, from Uncle Montgomery, we go to Book 3, The Wide Window. Here, the Baudelaire's venture and go to Lake Lachrymose, where they go live with their Aunt Josephine. Aunt Josephine is scared of everything, and she doesn't really care for them very much. She just cares about saving her own skin. And when Count Olaf shows up in the form of someone who's kind of hitting on Aunt Josephine, the Baudelaires have to try and find out a way to save both their guardian and themselves at the same time, which is quite amazing in the way they do it. Okay, from there we go to The Miserable Mill, which is the 4th book. Here they go and work for another of their guardians, I'm not quite sure, they just call him Mr. Sir, I think, Mr. Sir, and they go and work in a lumber mill. Don't know why they're working in a lumber mill, it's really stupid, but you know, having a baby working in a lumber mill. But this one is again one of my top 3 favourites. The whole thing is centred around Klaus a little bit. I think what I found is that each book has kind of like, it centres a little bit on one character, but maybe that's just me, but that's just the way I interpret it. But anyway, from that one, which of course Olaf shows up again and tries to grab their fortune, from that one we go to the Austere Academy, where the Baudelaires are sent to a boarding school where they're forced to live in the orphan shack, which is surrounded by crabs and has mould on the ceiling and really ugly wallpaper, and they're forced to run laps and laps and laps and laps with Count Olaf, who's disguised as their PE teacher, which would really suck. Here you also meet Duncan and Isadora Quagmire, who are 2 of 3 triplets, whose parents have also perished in a fire. Duncan and Isadora are also quite main characters, and I like them. I don't want them to die. Next, okay, from here we go to the Ersatz Elevator, Book 6. Here they go and live with Esme and Jerome Squalor in 667 Dark Avenue, I think it is, in a massive penthouse apartment. Here they are pretty much living their life of luxury. They live in a massive apartment that has too many rooms for what you need. And Esme is, you know, all up in the what's in, what's out. And it's quite scary because orphans are in at the moment and they're terrified of, you know, when orphans are out, what are they going to do then? From here, we go to the Vile Village. Vile Village is my favourite book so far. I love the Vile Village. They're only there for a few days, and that's because of when Duncan and Isadora something happens to them in the Auster Academy, they leave the acronym VFD, and the Birdlets are trying to figure out what VFD means. And what happens is Mr. Poe comes up and was like, we'll give you you can pick from a town and we'll send you there and the whole town will be your guardian. And this town was called VFD. And so they went there and it wasn't what they were expecting. And really the whole town is awful to them, which is just another series in their unfortunate lives. But from here is where we kind of branch off from Mr. Poe, which is great. I hate Mr. Poe, he's so annoying. But I'm actually quite excited because here they go from the Vile Village to the 8th book, which I finished yesterday, the Hostile Hospital. The Hostile Hospital is pretty much from the Vile Village. They've been walking all through the night and they happen upon a general store, and they hear some people talking about VFD, and they jump in the car with them, go to the hospital. There they are, what are they called? Like people who walk around and try and cheer people up, even though they're trying to cheer people up in the weirdest way ever, like giving them a balloon, and that's really it. But from here, this is kind of Violet's thing to sign, where Violet's put under anesthetic and is pretty much, it's up to Klaus and Sunny to try and release their sister and then find their way back to the series. Get out safely with her and, you know, rah, carry on. Okay, next one. These I actually haven't read yet. These ones I think when I was about 8, I got up to about the 9th book, but I don't remember it from there. Here, next one is the Carnivorous Carnival, which is they go to a carnival and something about freaks and stuff. I don't know, looks exciting. Then after that we go to the Slippery Slope, which obviously she is a Mexican or a tortilla. Either one, nice coat. Then we go to the Grim Grotto, and that just automatically makes me think of sharks, because I'm terrified of sharks. I think the whole thing of them being underwater will scare me to bits. And next we have the Penultimate Peril, don't know how to pronounce it, and then from there we have the end. Anyway, that is just my little lowdown. I'm only part way through it, so I think I'll do another little book review that has the last few books. I'm not quite sure, it depends if I really like them. But so far I'm liking the series, and have a good night. Hopefully my parents don't think I'm insane and talking to myself. Anyway, have a good night. Bye bye.